I don't know about you, but I love watching state of the collection videos. And I assume you do too, or you would not have clicked on this video today. I like to hear how a watch ends up in someone's collection. I like to hear the story behind that. I also like to watch over the years how people's collections change. Now, I don't personally have a really large collection at this time, like some people I know, average Joe, but but I would like to show you what I do have before 2020 comes to a close. So let's go over and crack open that watch box and take a peek at my collection. Well, here we are. Let's just pop it open and get started. Now, the way I have this set up, this cover wants to fall down, so I'm going to try and prop it up here using these calipers. Hopefully that'll work. So the way I'd like to do this, to go through each watch, I'd like to go from the least worn watch in my collection to the one that I wear the most. I watched another state of the collection video, as I like to do, from a channel called You're Terrific. I'll try and leave a link to that. Great state of the collection, a higher end collection than mine is, but he did a great job in his video, and that's the way he kind of went through his watches, so I'm taking some inspiration from him. So we're going to start off with the least worn watch in my collection, and it's hard to put one at the bottom of the list, but I have to be truthful, and it's going to be this Casio Pro Trek PRG 600. Now, don't get me wrong, I like this watch. I like everything about it. Although it's a little bit big, it's probably the biggest I want to go on my 6.5-inch wrist. But it's just a watch that I don't wear very often because of the colorway that it is. I don't feel comfortable wearing this with, black shirt and black shoes because it is, brown colored watch. So that's one of the reasons why I don't wear it, because I usually wear more black clothes, black shoes, that type of thing. I don't wear too many browns. So that's the story behind this piece. But it's a great ABC watch, solar powered, and I highly recommend it. Well, it's hard to say this, but the second least worn watch in my collection is my Citizen Nighthawk. And I can't believe I'm saying this, because when I had only 2 watches, I would wear this watch all the time. This was the second watch that I bought. It was a foundation stone, you might say, to my entire collection. And I still love this piece, love everything about it. But for some reason, as the collection has grown, I don't find myself grabbing this Nighthawk as often as I used to. And I should mention that I do have full reviews of most of these watches, so I'll leave links to all the ones I do have reviews on. There are a couple that I don't actually have reviews on, but perhaps I will in the future. The third least worn watch out of my collection is my Seiko 5 SNZH model. And again, don't get me wrong, I love this watch. I love everything about it. It has a real vintage feel, and this was actually the first automatic watch that I added to my collection. So this was the third watch that I purchased after my Citizen Nighthawk. And I really enjoy this piece, I really do, but like I said, with the Nighthawk, other things come into your collection, and you can't wear all of them all the time, obviously. But this is one that I'm finding myself not wearing as much as I used to, unfortunately. Still love that bezel. Perhaps it's the colorway, the yellow and black. I think it looks great, but doesn't go with everything. So maybe I'm kind of picky when it comes to styling my watch and wanting it to match my clothes. I'm not sure, but perhaps that's why I don't grab this one as often as I used to. Next are my two dress watches that I have. They both get about equal time, and they are my Orient Symphony watches, Symphony 2 I believe, and I do have a video on these, so I hope you'll check that out. But really classic, simple, yet elegant style dress watch, and I bought both of these at the same time. And I wanted one that was all black because I do like, a blacked out look sometimes with my dress clothes. But these, I wear, but not too often. So there they are. I sometimes find myself wearing other watches that aren't dress watches, even though I might be wearing dress clothes. So I try and get by with some other watches in those scenarios sometimes. Well, there's 4 watches left, and so I guess you might say these are the 4 watches that I wear the most. And the first one of that bunch is this one right here, the Casio World Time, or the Casio Royale. This is a unique watch because I did not buy this watch. I actually won it in a YouTube giveaway from the channel Celine Driver. So thanks again to him. And he shipped this to me after winning the giveaway. And I've really fallen in love with it. I saw these watches before I had one in my possession, and I liked them. I think they're very unique, and they're around $20. So it doesn't get much better than this. You get the world time and all of the functionality of a Casio watch. And this one, though it's not solar powered, it does have a 10-year battery life, so it's going to last you quite a while. These are also very moddable, so if you want to get into modding watches, this might be a good place to start. And I find myself grabbing this one often because I wear it for work and different jobs that I do. It's a good little work watch, so that's why I picked this one out quite a bit. Alright, so now we're in the top 3, and my third most worn watch out of my collection is another Casio, my Casio Pro Trek PRG 270, and you can see it's quite a mess right now. I've worn it on a number of jobs, and one of the most recent jobs that I've worn it on was a painting job, and you can see some of the paint splatters there. And I'm not one who cleans this type of watch right away if it gets dirty. Eventually as I shower with it, some of these spots come off, and this watch has a lot of scratches and dents and chunks missing out of it as I've worn it over the years. And this was the watch that really got me started in collecting, believe it or not. I bought this probably around 6 years ago now or more, and it's still here, and it's not going to go anywhere because this was the first one. So I'm going to keep this until it's completely dead, but it holds up, and I wear this for tough jobs, whatever it may be, outdoors, demolition in a house, whatever. This is the one that I go to, and it's held up really greatly. So I really love this one. Sure, it's not a small watch by any means, but on my 6.5-inch wrist, I think I can just get by with it. I don't feel like it's too big. And of course, one of the things I love about it is that it's solar powered and don't really have to worry about the battery. Alright, now we're down to 2, the last 2. And if you know and follow my channel, you probably already can guess which one is the top one. But let's do the second most worn out of my collection, and that is my Alpena Sea Strong Diver Heritage. I just love this watch. It was really kind of, I like to say, an obtainable grail in my collection. When I first saw this model and this compressor style case and that domed crystal, when I first saw pictures of it, I just fell in love with it, and found out that it was a little bit of an expensive watch at around $1,800 MSRP, so it was way out of budget, but ended up finding a great deal on eBay for a refurbished model, and that's what this was. And in talking with the people who were selling it on eBay, it probably was just an overstock at some department store, so it was never worn. There was no scratches on it, no damage at all, nothing wrong with the movement. So I was really happy to get this watch for like 75-80% off of the MSRP, and really happy to have it in my collection. And I wear it a lot. It's the #2 watch that I find myself grabbing out. So I really love this piece. And so the #1 watch that I go to the most often out of my collection, that I find myself wearing all the time, sometimes 5 days in a row in a week, that's my Citizen Promaster Tough. There's so much I could say about this watch. You know, one thing I want to say right off the bat is when I first saw this watch online in pictures, I really didn't like how it looked. Kind of looked funny to me when I saw the pictures online. But then I was in a Macy's one day, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and I saw it in person, and I just fell in love with the design, simple design. And then I started learning about the monocoque case that it has on it and the super titanium coating. And so I actually ended up picking it up that day in Macy's, and for a pretty good price, and I've never looked back. I love this watch, and there's just, you know, so much I could say about it, but I hope you'll check out my full review on it. And there are full reviews of a lot of these watches, as I already mentioned, so I'll leave links to all of those down in the description. I have a few videos where this Citizen Promaster Tough makes an appearance. My famous scratch test videos, this has been in a couple of those, testing out that super titanium coating, so check those out as well. But this is a great piece, and I love everything about it. So I'll keep this one on for now, and I wanted to also say that if you're interested in this particular watch box that I have, I think it's about $30 on Amazon. Has space for 12 watches, as you can see. I'll leave a link in the description below for where you can purchase that if you're interested, and then a link to all of these watches where you can purchase them as well if you're interested in that. Well, that's a quick look at my small collection as it stands today in the fall of 2020. I'd love to hear what you think about my little collection, and specifically let me know, out of the watches that I own, which one do you think you would wear the most if you had the same collection that I do. I'd love to hear you comment that below. I look forward to talking to you down there. I'm also looking forward to doing another one of these next year, hopefully, and I'm looking forward to see how my collection will change in that year's time, so stay tuned for that. If you liked this video today, please let us know by leaving a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. We try and put out content on a weekly basis, on a regular basis, so please subscribe to stay up to date with all of that. But thanks for tuning in today to this video. We'll see you next time here on J City Reviews.